Hello everybody, I hope you're doing so well. So we're doing a pick a card reading today and I actually already filmed it. So it was pretty much what does spirit want you to know, what does your spirit team want you to know, and it was a really good reading, I have to say. There was very distinct messages for all three groups and I think you're going to enjoy it. So before we get in, I just want to let you know I have a few more tarot readings available on my shop. If you want a private reading with me, you can book in, and I've got a few more places open before the end of the year, and then I will be shutting my bookings for a while. So yeah, get in if you would like, and I'll see you for your reading. Bye. Okay, hello group number one. So you chose Cardinal Moon, be bold and make the first move. So I feel like Spirit wants you to know that you're waiting for something to happen in your life, or you're waiting for communication about something, or you're waiting for... You're in a waiting energy. You're in the energy of waiting for something, and Spirit doesn't want you to be in that energy. Spirit wants you to be in the energy of actually going out and taking what it is that you want, or initiating communication, or initiating some kind of beginning, some kind of new beginning, some kind of outcome, creating your own outcome. Because for some reason you have the perception, Spirit is saying, that you're not meant to be taking action right now, or maybe it's just that you don't feel like you have within your own power the power to change something that you're going through. So you're like kind of Spirit's saying that you're in the energy of feeling like you have to wait on Spirit or the universe to change a situation that you're going through, because it feels too overwhelming, it feels too out of your hands. You feel like you don't have any way of influencing it, you don't have any, freedom maybe. Okay, so Spirit's saying that actually the way that this situation is going to change, or the way that you're going to have a breakthrough in what you're going through, is actually through you. It's not going to come through Spirit this time. There is sort of, a balance of energies that happen in the universe, Spirit showing me, and sometimes it's our turn to take action, and sometimes it's Spirit's turn to take action and to kind of meet us somewhere, or to help us, to give us that kind of quantum leap. This situation, however, I'm feeling it really differently. I'm feeling like something about your actions need to be guiding this, rather than you waiting for Spirit to come in and make some kind of change. Spirit's asking for you to make that change. So we're going to ask, why are you feeling blocked about having perception, right? Let's ask that. Like, why are you feeling like you are waiting for something? Why is that? The Hanged Man. That is literally the energy of waiting. The Hanged Man, traditionally, right, is about being hung upside down from a tree in order to gain the wisdom, in order to receive the enlightenment of the world, right? And the Hanged Man does so willingly in order to kind of change his perspective so that he can gain wisdom. So the Hanged Man is about waiting and receiving from Spirit, and that's what the energy that I'm getting that you're in. But for some reason Spirit's like, you're going to be waiting a long time if you're just hanging there from that tree, because Spirit actually wants you to cut yourself down from that tree and then go walking through the forest, because it's like through the forest then you're going to meet the person who has the answer that you're waiting to receive from Spirit. Does that make sense? Like, Spirit's saying that you, for some reason, feel like that's the right thing to do, to like just feel that sense of, and sometimes it is like, but not right now. That sense of surrender, like, oh, I just have to let go and let God. I just have to surrender. There's nothing more that I can do. There's no one here for me to find. There's, that kind of energy. And Spirit's saying it's an illusion. It's actually an inversion, because the Hanged Man rides upside down. So you're looking at something upside down. You're looking at something the wrong way around. There's something about your perception which is like, oh my gosh, if you cut yourself down from that tree, right, that you're hanging there trying to receive the wisdom, the answer from Spirit, and then, like I said, you start walking around that forest that you're hanging in from that tree, you start exploring the forest around you, there is where you're going to find your answer. There is where you're going to meet that person who gives you the job, or meet that person who is your soulmate, or whatever it is that you're kind of feeling like you have to be waiting for right now. Because I'm getting that it's like you think that you're doing it out of your own wisdom, but for some reason your perception is upside down, and Spirit's trying to like get you the right way up again, because there's something that you can take action for right now that will greatly change your life and your results. There is something that you can be doing that will greatly change your life and your results. Okay, so be bold and make the first move, Spirit. What is it that they can be doing that would greatly change their life and their results? Because I feel like you guys are in a bit of a haze right now. As I'm tuning in, it's like I'm doing this reading for you and I'm feeling that you're like, yeah, but I'm so confused, or I'm feeling so like blocked, or I'm feeling so not clear about what I'm meant to be doing right now, what Spirit's asking me of, or how to get unblocked creatively. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. Okay. So how is it that they are to make the first move, Spirit? Through what avenue? Communication. That's what I was picking up at the beginning. There's something that you can be communicating right now. Like, it could be, for example, you think that the best thing to do, right, is to wait for someone to contact you about a job. But really, Spirit's saying Spirit wants you to contact them about the job, right? Spirit wants you to reach out first. Or if it's to do with a love relationship or something, and you're just waiting on the other person to kind of tell you how they feel, or you're waiting on the other person to be bold and to make the first move to ask you out, Spirit's saying, well, why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? And it's because you have the perception that it's going to come through Spirit. It's because you have the perception that it's going to come through the other person. It's going to come through in action. Whether that's through downloading something directly from Spirit and being like, aha, I have the answer now. Or whether you think that, you know, the action, like the actual outcome will come miraculously through Spirit. Like something just lands on your doorstep or something. But Spirit's saying in this case, it's going to come through you going out there into the world and like advocating for what you want, or being bold and telling someone how you feel first, or applying for the jobs and reaching out to the person and taking the initiative and being really bold and like brave and noticeable, rather than kind of hiding back and letting things come to you. It's an interesting message because I'm picking up the crown chakra as well. Like, the crown chakra is involved when we are not taking action when we're meant to be taking action. It's usually around the crown chakra block, like because we feel like we don't have freedom maybe in some situation, or we feel like our free will won't impact the situation maybe, or something about, yeah, like feeling like you don't have freedom somehow, or you're not free. Okay. But now I'm getting that feeling that you're having of thinking that you're not meant to take action, or that you can't take action, or that your actions aren't going to be the thing. Okay, this is what it is. Thinking that your actions won't be the thing that makes the difference in the end for this thing. That's the perception that you're having. But Spirit's saying that's a miscommunication. Somewhere along the lines, the communication between you and Spirit got a little bit muddied, because Spirit's like, no, that was not the original message. That's not what I meant. And you're like, gotcha, Spirit. I'm just going to hang here in this tree until everything just falls into place for me. And Spirit's like, no, that's not what I was saying. And you're like, don't worry, Spirit. I ain't going to do anything. I'm just going to hang here. And look, this is commendable, because a lot of the time in life, sometimes this is what we are asked to do, right? There's like only so much actions that we can take in the physical, but I'm seeing that it's just out of reach for you, okay? Whatever it is that you've been needing, whatever is like work, or is maybe a relationship, like personal relationships, hearing about a job, hearing about, I don't know, some kind of outcome of a situation. I feel like you're waiting for something. You're waiting for things to change. You're waiting to, I don't know, what are you waiting for? Like, you're waiting for something. So Spirit's saying that was a miscommunication. You're not meant to be waiting. You're actually meant to be being bold and making the first move, because I'm feeling like it's just out of reach. It's not very far away. Like, if you just take that one action that's in the right direction, right? If you take the action that goes into the right direction, it's going to happen straight away. But you have to just keep trial. Like, for example, for some of you, it might be trial and error. It might be trial and error. Like, you have to apply for lots of different jobs. You have to put yourself out there in lots of different ways until it goes like, boom, then there it is. Because I'm feeling a lot of haze around your energy, like a lot of like confusion. And this is very common with the Hanged Man, because the Hanged Man's related to the planet Neptune, which is a planet of illusions, like spiritual illusions, not being able to see things clearly, thinking that someone was someone and then they're actually another person completely. You know, that kind of energy where you're like surprised and kind of tricked, like, what? This energy was one thing, but it's actually another? That's what's going on right now. Like, you think that something is one thing, like I said, that you're meant to be just waiting and surrendering and everything's just gonna come in and be fine, when actually it's the complete opposite. You're meant to be taking action and being bold and taking responsibility for whatever it is that you have responsibility for, or responsibility over, like whatever your free will can impact. That's what you're meant to be focusing on and using. Like, Spirit's saying you have your free will on this side for a reason, and you have to take the actions that help Spirit to deliver the message. It's kind of like you might meet someone and have communication where like they will give you the answer that you're looking for. But somehow it takes you approaching them, or you reaching out or changing your actions in some way and putting yourself out there more, instead of just waiting for everything to come to you. Because you're going to get really good results. This is the thing, group one. It's going to completely change your perception of your life. And you're going to be like, what? I have all this power. I have all this ability to create, to manifest. Like, it's going to be such a buzz. I just feel like it's really beautiful. So there is something that you're meant to be bold and make the first move about. And it's something that you might have previously had the perception that you weren't free. You might have previously had the perception like, I can't do anything about this. Or they have to be the one to contact me, or the job's just going to find me in the end. I don't have to apply to any. That kind of mentality. And Spirit saying, in this case, this is not good. This is not accurate. In this case, you're meant to be taking the actions. You're meant to be in that masculine energy of going out there, fighting for what you want, demanding what you want, not giving up, not settling, just pushing until you can create some kind of result. Like, I'm feeling that kind of... Spirit doesn't want you to be passive. Spirit wants you to be active. Spirit wants you to fight back, right? Spirit wants you to fight back. For some of you, that's a very important message. Don't give up. Okay, that's another message. Because this can be the energy of surrender. Like, well, there's nothing I can do about it, so I just give up. And Spirit's like, no, don't give up. Don't give up. Because again, I keep being shown, you guys, I keep being shown the same image. It's you hanging in a tree by your foot, being like, I'm going to reach spiritual enlightenment, guys. Don't worry about me. Just leave me here. I'm going to reach my enlightenment, and Spirit's going to have everything sorted for me, and I don't have to do anything. And Spirit's like, no. The enlightenment is that you're like, wait a minute, I need to get down from this, hanging from this tree. And then you cut yourself down, and then you take a walk in the forest, and then you meet someone, and they have the exact message that it was that you were waiting in that tree to receive directly from Spirit, because Spirit works in mysterious ways, and sometimes the way Spirit works is through sending you a message through someone else, right? So it's like that kind of thing. Like, there's something that you can do, like take a walk, to actually put yourself into the energy of receiving what it is that you thought you were going to receive just through surrender. There's an action you can do that will give you the result that you thought you would receive through non-action, but it's actually going to come through action. Okay, so Spirit's been showing me a message. Spirit's been feeling like Spirit hasn't been able to communicate with you for some reason because of this like Neptune fog energy that you've had, where the fog, it like distorts you from being able to see through it and being able to like, you know, see what's going on. That kind of illusion from the spirit realm where like things become distorted and we're like, wait a minute, what's going on? And there's confusion and we don't know which direction to go in and which way is up anymore. And that, of course, Spirit saying is very understandable why in that energy, amongst that energy, you would just be like, I just gotta sit down and surrender to this because this is too overwhelming or too confusing, or I've already tried and I just don't know what else to do, or something like this. But Spirit's saying, Spirit's showing me a joke that I make sometimes, okay? With my partner. Sometimes like he'll say something like, oh, you know, the dishwasher was never put on or something. The dishwasher hasn't been put on. And then I'll be like, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about that. And it's just a stupid joke that I make occasionally, where it's like, obviously there is something I can do about that, about putting it on, right? But anyway, it's just a joke. It's a joke about being like, well, there's nothing I can do about that, when there obviously is something that I could do about it. So that's what Spirit's saying, is like, there's something that you're saying, well, there's nothing I can do about that, Spirit. And Spirit's like, well, yes, there is. There is definitely something you could be doing about this. And it involves communication in some way. It involves reaching out, it involves being bold, making the first move, and going after what it is that you want. Not giving up, not being like, whatever. Okay, so let's pull a card about this fog around you. The fog. What's going on with the fog, Spirit? Because I feel like I still feel it. Okay. So what's going on with the fog, Spirit? What do you want them to know about this fog? Been distorting themselves. Yeah. Okay, so we have the Grail Knight. Romance, illusion, seeking the sacred. This is the energy I was getting, you guys. It's the illusion, where it's like, illusion meaning like you think that something's one thing, but it's actually something else. You know? You think that you're meant to be surrendering, but you're actually meant to be like fighting your ass off. You know? It's very different. Okay, romance. Like I said, for some of you guys, it could be about romance. I feel like it's something about relationships in some form, maybe because of communication. Maybe it's about standing up for yourself. Okay, for some of you guys, it's about standing up for yourself and realizing that you can, and that you deserve to stand up for yourself, and that that's even available to you. Because I know some characters on this earth can be very dominating and domineering, and they can make you feel like you don't have free will. They can make you feel like you don't have a choice. You just have to do what they want or whatever. But Spirit's like, no, you have free will. You have a crown chakra, right? You have freedom. You have freedom. You don't have to act from the energy of obligation. That's a message for some of you guys who are feeling like not free in a relationship or something like this. Not free maybe to communicate what it is that you really think. Yes, you are. You can say what you think. That's for some of you. Whereas for some others of you, it's about needing a situation to change, such as like a job. Like Spirit saying, maybe you're just waiting in a job that you're unhappy in, and you're like, well, it'll just change. And Spirit's like, no, it's not going to change. And Spirit's been trying to get you to be bold and make the first move, because there's an illusion here where the Grail Knight, I don't know exactly the energy behind the knights, like the Arthurian knights and stuff. I don't really know it that well, but the energy that I'm getting from this card is like fighting for, it's like there's some, Spirit doesn't want you to Spirit doesn't want you to like put all of your energy into behind something that isn't going to work out, like it's an illusion somehow, like putting all your energy into surrendering, because it takes energy to surrender sometimes. Like it takes energy to intentionally be like, okay, I'm gonna do the thing where I hang from the tree until like the wisdom comes in, you know, or whatever it is. Spirit doesn't want you to put the energy behind something that's not going to actually, you know, go anywhere, like you're fighting for the wrong cause kind of thing. And this could be to do with a relationship, or it could be like, again, just to do with the way that you're approaching life right now, where you might just be feeling burnt out. You might be feeling like confused, just genuinely like not sure what to do about where to put your energy towards. And that's the illusion thing. And it's like, maybe, you know why? I think it's because you've put your energy towards things recently that haven't worked out. So you've just sort of given up. You're like, oh my gosh, I've already tried so many things. I just don't even know what to do. Or you've had a lot of relationships that didn't work out. So you're afraid to communicate and be the first one to reach out, because you're like, do I really want to start another cycle? So you might be holding yourself back and being like, no, I'm not even gonna initiate. I just don't even want to go there. And Spirit's like, be bold and make the first move, because there's something so beautiful on the other side of hanging upside down by this tree, energetically, metaphorically, symbolically. There's something so much more beautiful for you when you cut yourself down from that tree and you actually go exploring the forest around you and you actually start taking some kind of actions. Okay, so Spirit, I'm still feeling the fog, you guys. So what do they need to know about the actions? Because I'm feeling that overwhelm as I'm telling you this message and you're like, holy shit, I'm so overwhelmed right now. And now Spirit's telling me that it's my responsibility and I have to take actions. What am I meant to do? Okay, well, let's ask. Anything will do. You guys, don't overthink it. I can feel your overwhelm, okay? Like, I literally feel it. And I understand it very well. But Spirit's saying with the aid of fire, you just have to get the energy moving, okay? It's like you don't actually have to need to know where you're going to end up. Like, for example, you're hanging upside down from the tree, right? Waiting to receive knowledge from Spirit. Spirit's letting you know you're meant to cut yourself down from that tree and go for a walk just anywhere, any direction. And you're like, Spirit, I don't know which direction to go. I don't know which part of the forest to go to. And Spirit's like, it doesn't matter. Just go anywhere. Just do anything, because it will get your energy to move again. It will get, this is if you don't know what to do. If the whole time I've been doing this reading, you're like, it's glaringly obvious what Spirit wants me to be bold and make the first move about. If it's glaringly obvious to you, then it's about that. Okay, but for those of you who are like, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't even know. Okay, then it's anything. It's just to get your energy moving. It might literally just be go for a walk instead of lying on the couch. You know, there's something about you need to get the energy moving, because the Eight of Fire is about action and it's about travel. It's about exploration. It's literally the energy of walking around the forest to go exploring, right? Spirit's saying there's something out there that will meet you. It will meet you there. You just have to start to take action. And then you can trust that even if you don't know that you're being guided, you are going to be guided, and you are going to be guided to take the right path through that forest, to meet that person at the right time who has the answer for you or has the opportunity for you or is your soulmate or whatever it is. So just start anywhere. If you're like, I have no idea, just go for a walk, okay? Move your physical body. And then maybe you'll get an idea to be like, well, maybe I could, apply to this job, or maybe I haven't checked out this thing yet. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, I guess I'll try that. And then through that, you're going to start getting momentum. This is the energy of momentum. This card is the energy of momentum, where you take one action and then it starts to build and then build and then build. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm in flow state now. I'm in flow state again, and I have clarity again. And I realize that this thing over here, or you get the communication that you need, or you get the result, and it's like, whoa, things really get moving. So just start where you are. And this is the same for if you know exactly what it is and you're like, I'm terrified to reach out. Oh my gosh. Just begin somewhere, Spirit's saying. Just start to get the ball moving in any capacity. In any capacity, just begin. Because I feel like you're going to get more, courage as time goes on. It's going to become less overwhelming and feel less confusing, like where you are in your path right now. I'm just seeing that, you've had a lot of confusion. You've had a lot of not knowing or being disconnected somehow from Spirit, and feeling, maybe even feeling angry with Spirit as well, because of how hard things have been, and feeling disconnected from Spirit, right? But that's exactly another reason why Spirit wants you to get down from that tree, because it's kind of like you've been hanging from that tree and you're angry at Spirit, because you're like, Spirit, I've been hanging from this tree for 10 days and I haven't eaten or anything and you still haven't given me a message. And Spirit's saying because I told you to get down. That was the message. I told you to go take a walk, So there's been some miscommunication, and Spirit doesn't want you to feel angry with Spirit, because Spirit loves you so much. Spirit's okay if you feel angry with Spirit. Spirit doesn't mind. Spirit's not going to judge you for feeling angry. But Spirit also loves you very much and would like to communicate with you. And feels like it would be a lot easier to communicate if you start to get your energy moving, by going for a walk in the physical, or by being bold and making that first move in the physical, by taking that action, by being courageous, by applying for doing every single thing that you can think of that you have power over, okay? Because there are some things that we definitely don't have power over, and we are having to, you know, deal with like being on this side of the veil, right? We don't have all the answers all the time. There's a lot of mystery to this realm, you know, this dimension. It's like, what the heck? And that's what I feel like you've been dealing with. You've been dealing with a lot of mystery, a lot of the Neptune, the Pisces, the illusions, the fog, the dream time, the symbols, what does this mean? Why is this showing up? What am I meant to do about this? What is like that kind of energy? Okay. But I'm seeing that as you start to take action out of this energy of being in surrender, once you start to get out of that, you're like, well, I got to wake up from this. I got to start taking action. I just got to start where I am and just do anything you can to think of in your vicinity that you can do. And doing that, it's going to change your energy field so much, and it's going to help you get the result that you need right now. But it's also going to help you like manifest the exact energy just through getting your energy moving. The number 8 always makes me think of the infinity symbol, which is about energy flow in the body. And when the energy is really stuck, it can be harder for spirit to communicate with us, right? So I feel like you're going to get a communication, whether that's from someone else or whether that's the actual message you were asking for from spirit, but it's not going to come through the act of surrender. It's going to come through the act of acting, taking action, starting. And it might be that it comes to you slowly. Like today you go for a walk, and then tomorrow you start to answer some emails, and then the next day you just start to build and build and build, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I got this. Actually, I got this. Spirit wants to wake you out of that slumber, wake you out of that illusion fog where you're like, I don't have any power. Spirit's like, you do have power. Take back your power. Stand up for yourself. Take back your power in this situation. You do have power. Do whatever it is that you have power over, and do it the best that you can. Okay? I'm sending you so much love, Group 1, on your path. I do hope that this reading helped in some way today, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Group number 2, Spirit coming through as like really protective over you right now. I feel protective over you right now. That's what I feel. I feel protective. I want to like come in and just like take away all the bad things. That's what Spirit feels like. Spirit wants to tell you that it's time to release negativity. Like there's some poisonous energy in your life, or it might just be in your heart. For some of you, it might be that you have gone through a ending within a relationship, like a breakup, and there's like still some poison in your heart where it was like a bad, like I'm seeing that you came across very negative soul, and there's like poison that's been left over in your heart. And for some of you, you're still around this person or these people. For some of you, you're still around this person or these people, and this is where the protectiveness comes through, where Spirit wants you to realize that they don't deserve you, and that your heart, the Spirit wants you to like give yourself the opportunity to heal your heart, because there's a lot of energies in your heart right now that's like directly coming through the relationship with this dark energy, this negative energy, this toxic person, this poisonous person. There's energy directly in your heart. And for some of you, like I said, this person is actually in your past, but the energy remains in the heart space, right? Classic. The energy remains in the heart space even after you've left an abusive situation, because there's still healing to do and there's still energy to be released. So I'm feeling like Spirit's saying that it's time to release the energy. And for some of you, that means releasing the person to begin with. But for others of you, like, you're still dealing with it in your heart. Okay, so we're going to talk about it. Because Spirit's showing me anger. Spirit's showing me anger. Spirit's showing me anger. Okay? But I'm being shown it like being very suppressed deep down. Because you're in a situation where you didn't feel you had the right to be angry, or you weren't allowed to be angry, or because you were gaslit out of your anger. And when we have anger, that comes from our spirit, from our soul, from our intuition. When we have anger that is true anger, then it's actually coming from the divine and it's sacred. You know, it becomes sacred rage. And the reason it's sacred is because it's a message. It's because it's a message that something is wrong. Because it's a message that there's poison, that we need to cut this poison out, that we need to protect ourselves in some way. We need to self-defend. And I'm feeling like you have such an amazing heart and you're so loving that you're able to love these poisonous people very easily. But I'm seeing that in your heart is this like remnants of this anger around the times that you like didn't put up a boundary when someone was putting the poison on you. And Spirit wants me to like break it down in a way that's like very visual instead of talking about like the psychology of relationships. Spirit wants me to like talk about it, like Spirit's showing it to me in a very like visceral way, where it's like, imagine that there's someone in your life and every time you come into contact with them, they're like dropping poison onto you, and dropping poison into you, or acid on your skin or something. Well, that would be highly inappropriate, right? I mean, it's beyond inappropriate, it's criminal, but it would be so inappropriate that you would probably never want to see that person again, right? Or at the very least, you would put up a boundary and be like, no, you can't just dump your poison onto me, or you can't, burn me with this acid, right? Spirit's saying that this is in the astral, essentially what happens energetically in an energetic exchange with someone who is abusive, who is toxic, who is poisonous at their core. We actually end up with that energy, but more importantly, Spirit's saying we allow it to keep coming back in and back in and back in time and time again. That's the thing Spirit's saying is healing right now in your heart, is the lack of standing up for yourself or having a boundary when someone was like dumping their poison on you. And the reason Spirit's saying is because when you're a kid and you're around a poisonous person, you don't have the awareness that like they are poisonous. So you don't have the tendency to basically know that it's wrong even. So this you might have anger, right? Because kids get angry still when they get bullied and things like this. Like, it's not that they don't feel anger, but say if one of your parents is this poisonous person, then how are you meant to get angry at your own parent, right? There's a power differential there where it's like, you can't get angry, I'm your parent, this is just what I said because I said so, da 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 da. So there's been some kind of a suppression is what I'm trying to say. There's been some kind of a suppression of your natural anger instincts. Your natural anger, which actually puts up a boundary and says no to this behavior and this energy. But instead, somewhere along the lines, this behavior of poisoning became normalized for you. It became naturalized for you. It became familiar. And so when you meet people out and about now, Spirit's saying that same pattern that happened as when you were a kid where you didn't express your anger, it happens again. But Spirit's saying now is the time to release your anger. Because through releasing your anger and letting it up and being allowed to be seen and heard and known, it's actually going to allow you to set a lot better boundaries in the future. So for some of you, there is a poisonous person in your environment right now that Spirit's asking you to actually let go of if you can, and to set that final boundary once and for all. Just like you would if someone was literally poisoning you. Like, I'm seeing corrosive. I'm seeing the corrosiveness. It's actually so weird. I had a dream last night. Oh my gosh, why did I even say this? Now I have to tell you my dream. I had a dream last night that someone was chasing me with a bottle of like poison, like, the kind of chemicals, like corrosive chemicals, and they were trying to spray me with it, and I was running away, and I got into this what I thought was a safe house, but then when I was in there, this man came in, and I was like, so I was in the kitchen, and I just grabbed a kitchen knife and I turned around and I was like, am I literally gonna stab you right now? And then he was spraying me with the poison, but nothing happened, and then I woke up and I was like, what? Well, relevant. So just like if you were being chased by that man, right, with a bottle of poison, trying to spray you and get you, well, I would hope that you would fight back, right? I mean, I ran, but then I had to fight back because I was cornered, and I had to fight back. So you just got to fight back. I mean, what are you going to do? You just got to do it, right? That's what happens, especially in dreams. So Yes. So Spirit's saying like, there is something in you where that fight back urge, that like self-defense, right? It got suppressed. And I think, you know, likely it's because this person was like, there was a poisonous person around you as a kid, and you were taught to suppress your anger about it, to not have boundaries with them, and to let them poison you, to let them spray all that poison on you as much as they wanted. That's what you were taught to do. So it's very challenging when this stuff is buried so deep in us to wake up from that, kind of like a spell, kind of like a mind control, you know. But you can wake up, and Spirit's saying it's time to release the negativity. And the way that you do that is that you honor your anger and you allow it to talk to you and speak to you. Sometimes if I suppress anger, I find that it comes through physical symptoms of like some kind of pain, you know. And it's kind of like, oh, my anger's like trying to tell me, you know, that this isn't okay, kind of thing. Because I'm very avoidant. I don't want to have to like, you know, I would rather not have to confront things sometimes. Like, I don't want to have to like stand there and fight you and then stab that man with the knife. Like, I'd rather not have to. But if I have to, then I have to. And that's kind of what Spirit's saying, is like, sometimes you have to stand up for yourself and say no and put that boundary, and not just pretend like everything's fine and that's fine, it's fine, when deep down you're like dying inside, you know? Yeah. So the more that you like let yourself recognize that you're angry because it's sacred rage, because the thing that was happening wasn't okay. It was never okay, but it just got normalized and naturalized through your childhood environment. So Spirit's saying you got to reclaim your boundaries in some way in your life right now. There's some person maybe that you're still needing to have boundaries with. I'm feeling like that's a really strong message for a lot of you guys. And even if you've cut this person out, if they were a very strong abusive force in your life, then they can have these echoes in your mind for like the longest time afterwards, right? Where you're like unraveling that stuff. So Spirit's saying you're doing really well, okay? Regardless of where you are in your own story, like Spirit wants you to know that you're doing really well, because this dimension is really hard, you guys. Like, you're doing really well. Spirit wants you to acknowledge that you guys are really strong. You're made of really strong stuff. But Spirit doesn't want you to like self-sacrifice yourself, right? Spirit wants you to stand up for yourself, to fight back, and to realize that there are some poisonous people that you can't be around, because they just won't stop quitting spraying you with that poison bottle, like my dream. You just can't be around those people, right? It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. And Spirit's saying, yes, maybe you could try telling them like, hey, would you please mind not spraying me with that poison? I'd rather if you didn't spray me with that poison. But Spirit's saying that these kinds of people, it's just like, they are like a scorpion. There's nothing wrong with scorpions, okay? I like scorpions, but scorpions have poison in them. It's just who they are. It's part of themselves. And this is the same for this person. Like, they just have poison in them, and no amount of you loving them is going to change that. Oh my God, there's a cloud right now that looks exactly like a scorpion, you guys. It's got the tail. It's got the tail. Okay, we're going to pull another card because, okay, what do you want them to know, Spirit? My throat chakra, you guys, that's a message. There's a boundary to be set. And if you're like, Bridget, I swear to God, I've literally set a boundary with everyone that's poisonous in my life. There ain't nobody left. Well, then it's a boundary with the poison that might want to come back and poison you again. Like the echoes of their voice being like, you're not worth anything, or you're ugly, or you're blah, 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 blah. Like whatever it is that's coming back as that echo form. And then it's like, no, Spirit's like saying, stand up for yourself. Do not let that poison you for a second time, you know, because I'm seeing it's like all stored in your heart. It's like in your heart, and Spirit's saying it will need to be released. That's the card you got. It will need to be released. This poison can't stay within you. It has to be shed. It has to be let go of. Just like when I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to say just like when you get a snake bite, but I'm pretty sure they use anti-venom. So I don't know exactly how that works, but Spirit's saying like, don't let that snake venom spread throughout your whole body. That's what happens if you get a snake bite. You're meant to try to contain it to the like one leg, you know, that they bite you on the foot, and you try to like wrap up the blood, you know, you wrap it up really, really tight so that the blood flow my brain's not working, so that the blood flow can't all spread up to your heart and then kill you, right? So Spirit's saying, don't let this poison spread. Don't let this poison spread. You have the power within you to let it go, to release it. And all you have to do is recognize, wait a minute, this voice is an echo from my past. This voice in my head right now is not my own. This voice in my head right now is poison. It's not true. And you have the ability to stand up for yourself, Spirit's saying. You do. And you stand up for yourself by loving yourself as well. Because when you set boundaries with toxic people and poisonous things in your environment, it's an act of great love. It's a beautiful act of love for yourself. And no one else can do this for you. No one else can come in and save you. You have to do it for yourself. But you have it in you. You do. Spirit's telling you, you absolutely have it in you. So when this poison energy from these toxic abusers from your past, or potentially present, is trying to come into your life and into your consciousness and put you down and make you feel less than, Spirit's saying stand up for yourself. Spirit's saying stand up for yourself. Okay, and the way that you can do it, Spirit wants me to share. Spirit's just exposing me today. I didn't think I was going to share that dream. I didn't even tell my partner about that dream yet, because I'm so sick of having dreams about being chased by like murderers and stuff, because every time I tell him, he's like, well, maybe you shouldn't like you know, watch your murder mystery shows or listen to your true crime podcast. And I'm like, whatever. Anyway, so okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Spirit wanted me to tell you that obviously I have experience with some poisonous people, right? I speak from experience. So one thing that I do when those echoes come into my mind is that I tell myself that I can do it. That's literally been my mantra recently, is I can do it. I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. And I literally repeat it in my head so many times that it stops even making sense as words, because I'm just repeating the sounds. You know when you say a word so many times in a row and then it almost like stops even sounding like an actual word? You're like, what is it? What even is this word? I say it so many times in my head, and it helps to reverse that karma or whatever it is, that poison in me that's saying like, oh, I can't do this, or I can't get this done, or I'm not good enough to do this, or you know, whatever other kind of like low vibe, low self-esteem kind of thought that's coming up and telling me that I can't. I'm like, I can. And I literally counter it by putting the energy in my heart of like, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, and I affirm it. So it kind of works actually, even though it doesn't sound like it really would. Well, it actually does. It does help. It helps to change my energy. And then it's like, wait a minute. It's like I wake up from some kind of mind control and I'm like, wait a minute, I can do it. Why did I ever think that I couldn't do it? This is crazy, right? So Spirit's saying there's like poison, right? In your mind, from your heart, from these relationships with these toxic people, that it's like, it's telling you things that's not true. Like, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. Spirit's like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. So Spirit wants you to know so that you can reverse the momentum of the poison and start to release it. Because every time that you defy what that voice is telling you, where they're like, you can't do it, and then you go ahead and you do it, that is some of that poison released. You know, that is some of that poison released from you. You got this. You got this, group 2. I really believe in you. What was I going to pull a card about? You guys, I'm sorry. I've been literally having memory issues recently because of my health. I can't remember. Okay, well. Okay, so these cards fell on the floor, so we are going to finish with this message from Spirit. So, okay, it's so clear. You guys, it's so obvious. Okay, so we have the Empress. This is you. Doesn't matter what your gender or anything like that. It's just meaning that you are someone of such deep value and worth, and you are so loved by the divine, you're cherished by the divine, you are so deeply loved by those in your life, and Spirit wants you to recognize how deeply worthy you are of being happy and how much you deserve goodness. And you're on a complete journey of like transformation where you're going to be embodying this Empress completely. You're going to be able to overcome the Queen of Air, these echoes in your mind. Because even if, like I said, you guys, even if you have released the negative people out of your life, and I have experienced this, even on the other side of completely cutting them out, you still have to release the negativity. You still have to purge out all the trauma that you went through. And it can honestly be the most intense part is right after you cut them off or right after you set that boundary, because it's the most raw. And it also is like you finally acknowledging how bad it was that you're like, oh, I actually have to leave. And then when you do leave, it like really hits you how actually bad it was. It's just a lot. So Spirit's saying that even like no matter where you are in terms of your process of releasing these toxic people and toxic things and poisonous things, it can linger, and that's the trauma. But Spirit's saying you can overcome all of that trauma. The transformation card, you can transform your heart space from having this energy in it like that I was feeling that it really needed to be able to release. You can transform into this Empress, this loving, unconditionally loving, powerful, empowered, divine feminine, empathic person. And I said divine feminine because I was leading into the empathy. You don't have to be a divine feminine or anything like that, but it's about the empathy. You're an empath. That's the way that these people's energy got in the first place, is because you loved and you opened your heart when likely it began when you're a child. Because when you're a child, you don't have the thought of saying no. You don't really have the ability even. So Spirit's saying through the mind, Spirit wants you to, well, this might be literally speaking a boundary to someone. Look, the owl. Oh my gosh, I love owls, you guys. The owl talks about seeing through the darkness, right? Being able to see through the darkness and see the truth within a situation. It has night vision, right? So Spirit wants you to see through these dark individuals, these poisonous individuals, and set the boundary that's appropriate for you. And then once you do that, Spirit's saying the trauma will naturally start to be released. And most of you are going through the release already. You're in the release phase. Some of you are still navigating the boundaries with these people, right? Navigating, how do I? But Spirit's saying it is important to cut them out. I just saw 333 on my camera. It is important to cut them out because it allows the wound to heal. Because imagine, right, that this individual, this workplace or whatever it is that's this poison, narcissistic energy, imagine that every time you're around this person, they pour more poison into your system and more poison and more poison. And then you have space from them and your body is like trying to get rid of all this poison, like quick. And then you see them again, it's like more poison. Drinking more poison and drinking more poison. And it's like your body doesn't have enough time to like recover. Your soul, your spirit doesn't have enough time to bounce back. It's so draining. It takes so much of your life force just to deal with this poison. Every time you're with them, it's more poison. Whew. So Spirit's saying when you cut them out, when you see through it and you see that you're just self-sacrificing for literally no reason and that it's not serving you in any way, to just drink poison around this person because they ask you, because they require that of you to be in relationship with them. No one who loves you requires you to drink poison around them. No one. No one would want that for you if they really loved you. And this Empress energy is the part in you. Gosh, that was an interesting energy. The Empress energy is a part in you that is actually fighting back. That is like, wait a minute, I deserve better than this. Wait a minute, I have to fight back, right? In my dream, I often have dreams about having to fight back because obviously it's something I'm working on this life. Spirit exposing me as usual. Yeah, so you have to be able to fight back. And when you're a serious empath and you've got that beautiful, loving energy, and you were around these poisonous people as a child, so you didn't think that it was anything wrong, and you're just used to not having boundaries and suppressing your anger and all this stuff, well, then it becomes a little bit of a path back to embodying this. But you're getting there. You're on, like, it's not that you're not already there, but it's like there's still some poison. So the boundary is necessary. And even after you've set the boundary, because of how poisonous these interactions are with these kinds of people, it echoes, it lingers, and it still has to be released and released and released, right? So Spirit's saying, remember to stand up in your own mind for yourself and stand up against this voices in your head that might tell you can't do this, right? You're not good enough. That kind of thing. Stand up for that. Or that says you're not lovable and no one loves you and no one cares, or whatever that's humiliating you, that whatever it is. Stand up for that. Stand up to that. Get angry. Because anger can drive us to take action in appropriate ways as well. It's usually when we have suppressed our anger so deeply that we do have these explosions where it just comes out in ways that we don't like, right? And that's called the anger to shame spiral. And then the shame that you have after expressing your anger in an inappropriate way might make you suppress your anger again. And then it pops up again and you feel shame for it, so you suppress it again. It's very classic, it's common, right? That people go through these cycles with suppressing anger and then it exploding, whatever. So Spirit is saying you're learning about anger. You're learning about divine justice, I wanted to say. Sacred rage is a form of justice. Sometimes being an empath is going to burn you out to the point where it will kill you unless you stand up for yourself. And that is where you need sacred rage to get you to fight back, to get you to leave. You right? Okay, so group number 2. You're doing really well. I mean, you're doing really well. Come on, you're doing amazingly, seriously. The fact that you're still here at this reading when I've talked about some really intense triggering things, but you're still watching this and you're still showing up for yourself and you're still willing to face this stuff, to face what you can do about it, because Spirit wants you to know that, like, you were never the one that had this poison in you to begin with. It was through your relationship with this poisonous person that this poison became lodged into your system. And then just keep in mind, okay, because when you have trauma, it can make you feel like things are your fault. It can make you feel like, well, it's my fault. It's my fault. Spirit wants you to know it's not your fault. And that's something that is really a really important reminder in your head. It's not your fault. That is literally what abusers say to you, to get you to take responsibility so that they don't have to look at their own disgusting behavior. It's not yours. Don't take it on. That's what Spirit wants you to know. You are so worthy of love. Don't let anyone get into your mind and make you think that you're not. All right, group 2, I love you and I'm sending you love. And I'll see you soon, okay? Bye. Okay, so group 3, you are lucky. Spirit wants you to know that you're lucky. That's nice. Spirit wants you to know that you're lucky. Spirit wants you to know that you're lucky. Wow, I came through a lot. You're lucky because you're not feeling like you are lucky. Because you're not seeing that you're lucky. Because you're feeling like you're very unlucky. And I feel like it's especially to do with relationships, like people in your life or they're not in your life. Maybe that's why you're not feeling lucky. I'm feeling like this card saying a new romantic cycle begins. And it's because I'm seeing like a very new energy in the realm of relationships for you. Like you're going to be having much better quality relationships with people. And relationships is across the board. Like I'm talking about a workplace that actually really resonates with your energy and your soul, where you're like, wow, I feel safe here, I feel at home here, I feel it aligned. This is what it is. It's about alignment. It's about alignment with things in your environment, with people in your life, rather than coming up against things that are out of alignment and then cause things to feel more and more out of balance in your life. A new romantic cycle beginning for you. It's like you're clearing the karma, group 3, that might have been keeping you in situations that felt out of alignment or felt draining or felt like, oh, I hate this job, I don't want to be here, or you're dealing with, whatever it is that you're dealing with. Things are coming back into alignment for you, especially to do with relationships. Like if you have been going through a spell of loneliness, then you're going to be having someone or people, maybe more than one, coming in that's going to really, really like save the day, is what I'm hearing, because you felt like it wasn't possible. You're like, oh, I've given up on love. I've given up on maybe even like finding friends. I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to try. Something like this, like you feel like it's just not going to happen. And that's why I kept saying lucky, lucky, lucky. Or maybe it's about a job that you just think, I'm never going to get my dream job. I just have to settle. I'm not lucky enough to manifest what I want. It's not going to happen. Oh my gosh. Group 3, you're going to manifest it. You're going to manifest the love, the relationships, and potentially for some of you, it's the job that you need. Because job is relationships too. Everything's relationships, right? Wow. So you're having a huge upgrade, like in a way that, again, I don't think you thought was possible for yourself. I think you felt like, well, I'm just going to continue these cycles, right? These cycles with these, like you just felt like it was just going to be the same, or that you were just going to be alone. But lucky for you, the thing that you don't see coming is super positive, group 3, and that's why you're lucky, because you don't see it coming, but it's still coming in anyway. It doesn't matter. It's not a situation where you have to be like manifesting it through knowing that it's definitely coming in, visualizing it and all this stuff. It's like, I feel like you might have just given up on it. And for some reason, that's actually more of the energy of where it can actually come in for you. It's like where you're like, whatever. I feel like you got so burnt out, group 3, by these cycles with relationships or with workplaces that were draining or that weren't right. That, like, even if it's just a little bit out of alignment, it's going to be incredibly draining. That's how our guidance system within ourselves works. It's like when things are draining, it's because they're not in alignment. And even if it was just 1 degree out of alignment, well, it's still out of alignment, so it's still going to be draining. So Spirit's saying that the karma that, like, I don't claim to know how karma works, by the way. It's something that I'm still definitely a bit of a mystery to me, but something about the karma that you're born into, I hope that makes sense. It's like your soul's karma or something. It was making it was making things play out in a certain way. And it was like these cycles, like karmic cycles. It was like a karmic cycle that you were born, that you had within you already when you incarnated. And it was playing out and playing out and playing out. And it became so familiar to you. Like you always worked at jobs that you hated. So you don't even know what it feels like to work at a job that you love and that isn't draining for you. It's something like that, where it's like you haven't even experienced how good it's going to get yet, group 3. Or it's like you always were friends with people that you didn't quite resonate with or who didn't quite get you. And so it was always a little bit awkward and you're like, oh, I don't know, I give up. And Spirit's saying, but you haven't even experienced the stuff yet in terms of this. Like it could be about job. Like I'm feeling like it's literally like you haven't experienced the good stuff yet. Whether it's a friendship, like you haven't met your soul family yet. So you haven't felt that level of comfort in relationship, or you haven't met your soulmate yet, or you haven't met your dream, you haven't experienced your dream job yet. So it's like you don't know what it feels like. It's a different realm for each of you. And so, well, you're really lucky, group 3, because you're going to experience it. And I'm feeling like soon as well. It's not like you're going to have to wait another 10 years or something, which is almost what you were prepared to do. Interesting. It's almost like you were prepared to just have to wait another 10 years, or not 10 years, but like you were like, oh gosh, just another cycle. It's just going to be like more karmic cycles and but actually it's going to be different and you don't see it coming. You are definitely not seeing this coming. It's something that you aren't seeing coming. So it could be a person coming into your life, it could be a romantic person coming into your life, or it could be a job. I'm feeling like it's friendship, romance, or job, money. The experience of making money in this world, has it ever felt good to you? The experience of having friends, has it ever felt aligned to you? The experience of having a soulmate, have you ever felt that sense of home? If the answer is no to one of the above, then that's the thing that you're going to get lucky with. Wow. Okay, well, what else do you want them to know, Spirit, about this new romantic cycle beginning? Yeah, because it's going to bring something that you love. That's it. That's why it's so romantic. It's going to bring you something that you love. Back of the deck is the mystery. And I feel like that's kind of talking about the karmic cycles that you felt you had within you, that you felt like you were playing out. Like, why am I so unlucky in love? Or why do I feel like an alien and I can never find a friend that gets me? Or why do I always work at jobs that I hate and I can't just get ahead? The mystery, right? It was a mystery to you. It's like, I have no idea. I don't know why. Well, I feel like you're going to have the answers come in where, like, nothing is ever actually a mystery. It's just a mystery because we're on this side of the veil, and so we don't have full perception of truth yet, right? It's a mystery because our third eye is blocked in some way. And because of, like, being on this side of the veil where the Earth's consciousness is, or where our individual consciousness is, like, we have to deal with quite a bit of mystery on Earth. Like, I know that all of us have experienced the mystery in life. And sometimes the mystery can be nice, and it's nice. But a lot of the time it can feel frustrating, and it can be like, I have no idea what's even going on. Like, Spirit's saying that something that you feel like has been a mystery, you're going to get the answer about, and it's not going to be a mystery to you anymore. Like, it doesn't have to be a mystery to you. For example, I was going through a lot of health issues in the past few years, and it felt like the biggest mystery to me. I could not get any answers about what was wrong. I couldn't get any... Like, I felt like, you know, that feeling of like, what is going on? Like, no one can give me any answers. Like, it's just a mystery to everyone, right? And then I finally found a practitioner who gave me the complete answer of what's wrong with me and exactly the treatment plan that I have to do to get myself healthy again. And by the way, their name is Dr. Robert Morse, if you're interested, because I'm sure his work will help you as well if you have a mysterious health issue. So anyway, now it's not a mystery to me anymore. I don't, like, I know what's wrong, and I know what to do to heal it, and I know that I will heal from it. Even though for a lot of my life, I had no idea what my symptoms meant, and I had no idea what to do about it, and I felt completely victimized, and I felt completely alone, and I felt completely like I have no idea what to do. So Spirit's saying that there's always an answer. It's just that for whatever reason, like, we have to be in the frequency to receive the answer, right? And it can take a while. Took me a long time. So anyway, Spirit's saying that there's something that you're feeling like is a mystery. Like, why do you, like, whatever it is for you, like health, money, poverty, patterns of relationships, patterns of romance. It's like, why this feels like a mystery, and it feels like out of your hands. Like, it's so big, it's so confusing, it's so, you know. But Spirit's saying, well, there is an answer, and apparently you're actually on your way to getting it, to getting your answer. And yeah, that's part of this new cycle that's beginning. It's like, maybe, for example, like, you didn't know why did you always attract jobs that you ended up hating? And then you're going to realize why it is, and then it's not going to happen anymore. And you're going to be like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. Just like with my health, it's like, wait, I don't have to suffer anymore. I can actually heal from this. I never knew that I would be able to heal from this, right? So there's so much to discover for you, Group 3. Like, honestly, Group 3, you guys are in such a positive energy, I have to say. A new romantic cycle begins because your life is going to be delivering to you something that you love, that you're like, wow, I love this. I love this job, or I love this person, or I love this friend, or I love my soul family, or I love this opportunity, or I love this answer to my health problem. Whatever it is, right? Group 3 is so positive. I don't even know what Spirit wants me to say. Spirit, what else do you want to say? What do you want to say to Group 3, Spirit? What do you want to say to Group number 3, Spirit? What do you want them to know? back of the deck is love, you guys. I feel like that's relevant because I was saying you're going to love your life. Romantic for some of you, but this card is really talking about love. You're going to love your life. Okay, what do you want them to know for group 3, Spirit? The 2 of air. Clarity, 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 clarity. Something that you were like, this is a mystery to me. It's a mystery. And it's not a good one. Not the good kind. But Spirit's saying that this mystery can be solved. That's a message for you. You might have given up and been like, oh my gosh, I'm always going to be with this mystery. But you're not. Spirit's coming in with this new beginning. You've done something, group 3. Like, you've done more than you know in this path where you've been walking, where you felt like things were a mystery. You've still shown up. You've still, like, Spirit wants you to acknowledge how much work you've done, how much you've tried to find the answer, how much you've tried to work on this thing that you've been dealt, this card, like, hand that you've been dealt in this lifetime, is what I want to say. You've been trying to figure it out. You've been trying to, like, and Spirit's saying you're doing really well, because Libra is the justice, right? The scales of justice. You've put in your side so that you can break free, so that you can, like, receive the answer to the mystery. Like, imagine if, for example, Spirit is saying, use yourself as an example, Bridget. Imagine if I gave up on finding a solution for my health. And there were definitely times where I felt like I did kind of give up because it felt so mysterious. And sometimes I was like, is this in my head? Is this real? What's going on? Or I thought maybe it's emotional trauma. Is it just trauma? No, it's physical health issues. This is real. So it's like I got so much clarity. But imagine if I just given up. Imagine if I just written myself off. Imagine if I just gaslit myself. Imagine if I just created an identity of I'm just someone who has health issues and I'm never going to get better. Then I wouldn't have gotten myself to the answer. But it's because I did not give up. I was so persistent. I was, like, seriously researching alternative health stuff forever. And I tried and experimented so much. I tried so many different things, so many different diets, so many different supplements, so many different health approaches, so many different lifestyle approaches, so many different therapies. And I did therapy and I like, but I didn't give up. So Spirit's saying you've come this far, you haven't given up. And you're going to get the clarity about the mystery, about some kind of, like I said, I want to say karma, because I know for me, like, I was born with health issues, you guys. So, like, I know that was my karma that I kind of was, like, born into. And I know, and I don't mean karma in, like, a negative way. I just mean, like, that was the hand that I was dealt, and that's what I'm here to work with. And, like, there's lots of other things that I was dealt as well, but that's one of the things that's been a focus for me lately, because my health issues got so bad that I had to take notice of them and heal them. Anyway, so you're working with some kind of karmic cycle, and you didn't give up, and you're going to get clarity on it, and you're going to get a pathway, you're going to get an open door, you're going to get a yes, you're going to get a breakthrough, you're going to finally meet that person, or have that community, or find your dream job, or find the answer to your health problem and start your road to recovery, whatever it is. You can have clarity, and it's going to mark a very, like, the 2 of Swords is about, it's something that changes your life forever with the 2 of Swords. It's a life-changing decision or a life-changing moment of clarity, where your old path, it's like your path sort of, like, becomes a fork, a fork in the road, and you have to choose, do I go right or do I go left? And you're going to make the decision through the 2 of Swords, and you're going to have clarity, like, oh my God, this was the right path. Oh my God, I had no idea that this was down on this path for me. I had no idea. There's some kind of newness for you, and it's going to, like, mark the end of an old life. That's what I'm feeling with the 2 of Swords. It's like one life ends and another one begins. Like, for example, your life as a single person ends and now you aren't. Or your old pattern of hating your jobs ends and now you don't have to live that out anymore. Or the health example like I gave. And it's absolute truth and it's absolute clarity that puts everything into perspective, and you're not confused anymore, like, Spirit, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Right? You're actually going to have a third eye, I want to say like a third eye awakening or activation, where you're like, whoa, I actually see exactly what's going on. I see all of my choices. I see all of my karma. I see all of what I've overcome. I see all of my love that I've given to myself and how I've shown up for myself. And now I'm here and I have the answer, or I have the person, I have this thing. So, wow, group 3, you're manifesting like a lot of clarity, a real end to the mystery. Like, things are not going to feel like a mystery to you any longer, which is such a nice thing, because I know how much of a torturous experience this mystery can be on Earth. And it can also be kind of magical as well in certain ways. Like, as a psychic, I've also experienced the beautiful side of the mystery, where it's like, we can't understand fully everything that happens on this side of the veil yet. I think we will be able to soon, but not yet. So there's also a beautiful side to the mystery, but there's also a frustrating side to the mystery. And there can be a suffering side to the mystery, where maybe we're actually suffering unnecessarily because we haven't got the answer, we haven't got the clarity, we haven't got the ability with our third eye to see out of our situation. Like, for example, for me with my health issues, the answer was there all along. The answer was there from the beginning. And you know what? I even had, you guys aren't going to believe this, I even had someone in like 2018 give me the same book that I rediscovered this year that solved my health issues. I had them give it to me in like 2017 or 2018. And they were like, yeah, I really think you should do this. I think it would help you. She was a healer that I used to see. And I bought the book and I read the book. Did I do it? No. Because I still had a third eye block. I still had karma to overcome. Like, that's the best word that I can give it. It's like karma, where it's like the answer was literally there. Spirit gave it to me in many forms. For, I want to say, about 11 years, I think Spirit was trying to give me this answer to my health. And like I said, I was searching, I was putting in the effort, I was showing up, I was trying my best, but the answer was right there, but I couldn't see it. Spirit couldn't get through to me. Spirit couldn't get it into my head. This is what you have to do. This is the answer. Even if I was told by one person or another person, I couldn't do it yet. And then this year, it's like an awakening. It was like a third eye awakening, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. This was always the answer. I don't have to suffer. I can heal. But it took me a path of like changing my own internal world so that I could receive this answer. It took me a path of like loving myself and cutting off from toxic people and ending my patterns of negative relationships and showing up for myself and doing therapy. And doing all of this is what allowed me to receive that answer like 11 years later. Because there were 2 incidences where I could have seen the answer. So I calculated it was about 11 years of Spirit trying to get through to me about what it was. But you know what? I worked my butt off in those 11 years, and I think that's just how long it took for me to reverse this karma, for me to reverse this momentum, for me to actually get myself into the energy field where I could receive the answer and I could see it for what it was, which was true. Because before that, there were 2 incidences, like I said, in those 11 years, 2 incidences where I was told what the answer was, but I couldn't implement it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stick to it. It just didn't click. It wasn't that aha moment where the mystery is solved. No, I was like, but it's such a mystery still. So, this is a very positive reading for you, group 3, because something in your third eye was preventing you from seeing the answer or from receiving the result or from meeting that person, because that person's always existed on Earth, right? I mean, maybe not, like they might have an age gap, but what I'm trying to say is like the answer's always there, but we have to get ourselves into the frequency, into the energy of alignment with that answer to receive it. And it can take a while, and it can take revisiting the answer sometimes until we get it right, until we're like, okay, 3rd time lucky, Spirit, thank you, I got it this time, and I'm not letting it go, right? I'm not going to let it go. It's going to be different this time. I just know in my bones, you know, it's like I know that this is different. I'm not worried anymore. Whereas the other 2 times when Spirit told me the answer, I was still frantic. I was like, it's a mystery. I don't know what to do. Yeah. So you've done amazing work to gain this clarity. Your life will be different, group 3, in the best kind of way, where it's filled with love in a way that it wasn't before. And Spirit doesn't want you to feel sad about like, oh, but I lost time, or I could have figured this out before. Because it might surprise you how simple the answer is. Like it kind of did for me, where I was like, Spirit, you already told me this like 2 years ago. I didn't do it. Oops. You might feel regret, like, why didn't I just do it earlier? It's because of the karma. I feel like for me, and this is not, I'm not saying this is true for you, but for me, so that you have some like understanding of like, why do we not see what's in front of us? Why can't we just see what's right there in front of us? The answer was always there. Why couldn't I just see it? I think because it took me a lot of healing, a lot of learning how to love myself so that I could receive the answer that would like restore me, restore my health, and ultimately stop holding me back from living my life. I feel that it took 11 years of learning how to love myself so that I could learn how to implement this answer. This is the truth. This is all that it is. This is what I have to do. I can heal. I don't have to suffer. And it also really made me realize what it is that the Buddhists mean about like suffering being a choice. Something like that. Like I don't know Buddhism very well, so I'm not meaning to be offensive, but it's something about like suffering as being a choice. Like, and I never really resonated with that, or I didn't really understand it, I guess. It was a mystery to me. I was like, suffering doesn't seem to be a choice. I don't know. But in this case, with my own health issues, it's like I realized that I could have healed my body 11 years ago. And then I had another opportunity like 7 years ago, however long it was, 2018, 2017, I can't remember. I could have done it then. And then I had the book for several years. I could have rediscovered it then. And it was always online. I could have Googled it then. And I was in similar community. Like I was so close to the answer. I was like, what? How did I? So technically, I could have chosen differently and avoided that suffering. Do you know what I'm saying? I could have chosen something else, but I didn't have it in me at the time. Otherwise, I would have done it, right? So it really was like a huge perception shift, a huge third eye activation for me when I found this out, when the mystery was solved. And I was like, oh. Oh. You know, it's like these layers of like, oh, what? It was always there. So, I feel like Spirit's saying that you're not going to mind that maybe it took you a while to get here, or that it took ages to meet your soulmate or something, because the love that you're going to feel for your life, the boundlessness that you're going to have for life, look, perception, that's what I was saying. It's our perception which keeps us stuck. The answer's always there, but we just might not be able to see it yet, or hear it yet, or take it in yet, or take action on it yet. We might have known it, but we just never took action. Or we tried and we failed and then we gave up. And we got to keep going, keep going, keep going. You're having a huge perception shift. It's like a third eye awakening that's freeing you from these karmic struggles that felt so mysterious and dense and hard. And you're going to be living life with so much more love and ease and balance. And especially love. A lot of love. So I really don't think that you're going to feel that sense of like, why did it take me so long, or why was it so hard, or something like that for very long, because the love is just going to like vibrate you so high. You're just going to be like up so high in the frequency that you're going to have a sense of like understanding the mystery, because there's even more layers of the mystery. Like there's meaning even in not being able to find the answer. Like there's meaning in those 11 years that I found in the mystery. Like that's sacred in some way, and I can't even like put my finger, like I can't even express it properly in a word. Like, why do I feel like it's sacred that I spent 11 years not knowing the answer when I could have? I don't know, but it feels sacred to me because it was my journey to this point, you know. And I feel like it's the same for you. Like, spirit wants you to see it as sacred. Your path has been sacred, and it's always been taking you towards this love, this love, this love. Okay, group 3, so enjoy your third eye awakening and your change in fortune. You are lucky and you have a lot of love in this new beginning. Take really good care, okay? Bye.